seeing that here? Well, we've been in Da Nang for a few days, and we really like the city. But many people have told us how they liked Hoi An a lot, and it was on our list of places to see. But I'm not sure, you know, from what I've read, it's very touristy. It's a nice little town, but it's very touristy. So, you know, for rippers to live long term, I don't really recommend living in a touristy city unless you like that kind of vibe. But seeing that it's only about 45 minutes from Da Nang, we're going to check it out. So we have the rental motorcycle, and we're going to check it out. Oh, notice these sculptures over here. We're near a place called Marble Mountain, where they mine the marble to make these sculptures. And so they're all along here. Maybe we'll come back and check those out as well. Anyway, I hope the wind's not howling too much through the microphone. But along this road going from Da Nang to Hoi An, it's filled with these big resorts. So I was saying that Da Nang's not touristy at all. Well, it is, but they're high-end tourists staying in high-end resorts out here, and the beach is really beautiful. Maybe we'll make it out there and I'll show you. Here's some more of these sculptures over here. Very cool. And supposedly all this marble comes from Marble Mountain, which is around here somewhere. But anyway, so we're doing an exploratory trip to Hoi An, which is only about 45 minutes away from Da Nang. And we're going to check it out. If we like it, we'll probably come back and stay a few days. And see, get more information about it as a place to stay. But we're going to cut this video short because the wind is howling and I'm afraid it's blowing through the microphone. So we'll be back shortly. See ya. So we've stopped for a little pit stop between Da Nang and Hoi An, and while I'm driving along I'm making some distinctions. And so one of the things I want to share with you is it's very interesting because, you know, I originally said in Da Nang there was no tourism really. Well, that's because it's all outside the city. All this beautiful beach you see behind me, the coastline, is being bought up by the high-end chains, and you'd recognize these names. These are the big boys of chain resorts. And so they're buying up all this property here and creating these compounds. There's also residential compounds. There's two golf courses, one designed by Colin Montgomery, the other one by Greg Norman. So this is where all this activity is going now. It reminds me when I was in Cuba. When I went to Cuba, they actually had done the same thing. And the sad thing about it was that people were shuttled in from the airport, taken to these resort compounds that are walled off, and then the people spent the whole vacation there in the wall. And sometimes in Cuba, they actually, the people would come up by boats, and the people that were swimming, they'd try and sell things because they weren't allowed in these compounds. And that was the people's impression of Cuba. And so this is going to be the same sort of thing, which is sort of sad because people will come in, go golfing, stay in the resort, and never get to experience the culture of Vietnam or the interaction with the Vietnamese people except for the staff. And another sad thing about this is, if you look, I mean, this beautiful beach here is gorgeous. And before all these big boys came in, everything was like this. If you look on this side, there were all these mom and pop hotels and guest houses and bungalows and stuff like this, like these over here, where people would come and stay. Well, these, you know, this property is becoming so valuable that these are going to be torn down and more resorts put up. That's the sad part about it. So just wanted to mention this distinction. As I was going down the road, I noticed this was happening, and just wanted to comment on it. So come stay in these little places while you still can. But anyway, we're back on the road. The pit stop's over. We're getting back on the road. We're not that far from Hoi An, and I'll report back to you if I have something else to share with you. So we're outside the city of Hoi An, still at the beach. Now the road turns off of the beach and heads into town. The town isn't actually at the beach. So we stopped to get something to eat, and also I saw the sign. The reason I stopped actually was the sign said they have motorbike rental and they have laundry service. So I wanted to see how much it would be for motorbike rental and laundry service. But realize, keep in mind that we're right across from the beach, and there's actually not big resorts right here, but there are resorts. So it's more of a resort area. So I expect the prices to be higher here as opposed to maybe in town, but I don't know yet because we haven't been into town yet. But anyway, but we're going to eat while we're here. So I wanted to mention why we're here. We actually got watermelon juice and a mango juice fresh. Haven't tasted this yet. Fresh watermelon juice, excellent. Good for your kidneys and other things. But anyway, these are $1.50 a piece. US, which is what, 35,000 dong. And so we also got some, what we call in Thailand, Pat Pak Boon, which is stir-fried morning glory. We've got that with garlic coming, and that's 35,000, which is about $1.55, 57, something like that. So we ordered that. We also ordered fresh spring rolls with shrimp, which are, the fresh spring roll with shrimp is 65,000, which if I'm not mistaken is 250, if I'm not mistaken. 290, $2.90 US for the fresh spring roll. Hey. Thank you, wow. The Morning Glory was 55, which is $2.50, and then we also got crispy noodles, fried noodles with seafood, which was 75,000, which is going to end up being about $3.50 or something like that. Let's see, $3.35 US, and of course my obligatory iced coffee. That's just so I can continue down the road. I have a little gauge, just like the motorbike does. It says the fuel's getting low, and we got some complimentary peanuts as well. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you meet together.
Yeah, can I ask you a question? The sign says you have a laundry service. How much is the laundry service?
It's 1 kilo, 30,000 for 1 kilo.
1 kilo is 30,000, huh?
And I iron well.
You iron too?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's $1.34 for a kilo of laundry done ironed. Excellent. How about the motorbike? How much is a motorbike?
150 for 1 day.
150 for 1 day. Oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I've gotten the bike as little as 100. I've also paid as much as 2, so 150,000 for the motorbike rental. At the beach, it's going to be $6.75 US a day for the motorbike rental. So there you go. Some prices at the beach, and we'll be checking out the food and see what it's like. But the reason we actually stopped, there were a couple of places that had the same sign, motorbike rental and laundry service, but the reason we actually stopped at this one, because the two girls that were in here working, they had such great smiles that Nat said, hey, these people are smiling, they're friendly, let's stop there. And they actually speak good English, so it worked out well for us to be able to make the videos as well. So anyway, we'll report back maybe when we're finished how the food was, if there's anything left on the plate to make a positive ID with. But anyway, there you go, at the beach at Hoi An, and when we're finished eating, we're going to head back into town, not back into town, head into town and see what it's like there, and we'll report back and see what's there for rippers. See ya. Okay, so we're finished our meal at Hani's restaurant, and if you're coming to Hoi An from Da Nang, what you're going to do is the road is going to turn to the right and go to the city, and then it's going to continue straight just a little bit along the beach and then sort of dead end. Well, if you don't make that right and you come down the road a little bit, you're going to come to this restaurant. I recommend that you come. It's actually very good food, and it's not that expensive. And it was really great. There wasn't anything left on the place to make a positive identification, so we can't show you that. But one of the things, so check out the restaurant if you get a chance. But what I wanted to also mention was not only did I get the information about the price of motorbike rental and the laundry, but she answered one of the mysteries of the world. And that is why there's no right-hand mirror. I asked her, I've been asking many people about this, and I get these answers that I don't even bother you with, because it's like, nah, I don't think so. Well, she actually said that the police want it this way, that the police don't want you, because we drive on the right here, just like the United States. Which side are you supposed to pass on? The preferred side. The preferred side would be to go around the left side of people. In Thailand, we do the opposite. But the preferred way is to go around the left side. So you use the mirror to go around the left side, to look at the traffic, to go around. They don't want you looking in this side because they don't want you passing on this side. What kind of logic is that? I don't know. But anyway, I prefer having two mirrors. She prefers having two mirrors. She said, and this is a common thing about theft here. In fact, I might do a thing for my member site about the motorbikes if they come here and they're renting a motorbike or own a motorbike. A friend of mine, actually, we interviewed Phil and a lot. He bought a motorbike. He's only here for a month, 2 months, and he actually bought one and he's going to sell it before he leaves. But the thing about it is there's a motorbike rental in Da Nang who actually has a thing on the website about motorbike theft. And I might post this in our member site as well. But anyway, the information he was saying was be really careful. Theft is rampant here. And so she actually mentioned she likes the mirror on the right in case somebody comes up next to her to grab her bag. So theft came up again in the conversation. But they actually said make sure the motorbike's behind a gate. But they've cut the gate and left the lock, cut the gate around it so they can open it. They've lifted motorbikes over fences and stuff. So be real careful. If you rent a motorbike or something, this motorbike rental place said if the bike gets stolen, you got to go immediately to the police station and file a claim. And then you're going to have to pay the motorbike rental place for the cost of the bike, the value of it based on its age. Then they'll give you the papers for the bike because you own it. If it ever shows up and you own the bike. And if not, they get compensated and will buy a new bike. But anyway, just wanted to mention that. There's no right-hand mirror. Now, this one sounds possible, that there's no right-hand mirror because the police don't want you to pull out and use that mirror to pull out and pass around the right-hand side of people. So anyway, there you go. We're off to go see the city, and we'll be reporting back soon. So here we are in the old city of Hoi An, but let's talk about the history of Hoi An, you know, its background and everything. Let's just check this out. So in the old city, you don't bring the motorbikes in here. It's basically only walking and bicycles, so it gives us a real quaint old town feel to it, which is really cool. Now, just from driving into the city, there's enough infrastructure around this area to where if you wanted to live here, there was a lot of cafes and has a real artsy kind of feel to it. So I could see why people actually want to live around this area. It's touristy, but it's not touristy where it's got that bustling energy like Nha Trang. It actually is tourism, but it's, I don't know, scaled down and mellow, I should say. Like I said, the old city here, I mean, if you look at the architecture of the buildings and stuff, it's very cool. And this dates way back. And it sort of became a forgotten town for a long time. It's just in recent time that they've actually rekindled it as a tourist destination. It would have been cool to have seen this place when it actually was undiscovered as a tourist destination. But I hear at night, if you look down here, I don't know, because of the sunlight, whether you can see it or not, but there's lanterns hanging everywhere. And I hear at night it's got a real cool, a quaint charm to it. Hello. A quaint charm to it. When at night, because all the lanterns are lit up, I guess we're still getting the hawkers. We haven't got rid of those people yet. So anyway, yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be here tonight during that time where you'll be able to see the lanterns lit up. But I hear it actually is really nice. But there's a lot of places to sit, have coffee, eat, buy souvenirs. So we're going to peruse around a little bit and see what it's got to offer in the tourist area, and then possibly see what it would cost to live around here if somebody actually wanted to live here. Because Hoi An was originally a trading port, it stands to reason, because it's on this river, that you're going to have all these boats here. And so this sort of adds to the charm. Now, these are all tourist boats now. They don't do any kind of trade here anymore. So they're just for tourism purposes to go up and down the river. So, but it does add to the feel of the place being on the water like this, on this river. You can see all along the waterfront. It's easy to imagine as you look down the street how, see, like these ladies down here in this boat. These people, now they're trying to get tourists to go on the boats. But I can envision what it was like when these boats were pulling up, trading goods, and people like this actually buying and selling goods like it was a floating market. So if you can imagine, you can step back in time and imagine what this place was like. And with this architecture and stuff, this is a really cool feel to it. And you can see it's the same way on the other side of the river as well. So there's a real cool, I see why people like this place, because of the ambiance and the character it has. The problem I see with if you lived here is because you're not Vietnamese, every time you'd actually come into and around the old city here, you would be approached by vendors trying to sell you something, which would get a little bit aggravating and annoying. Let's see what's in here. They're actually making jewelry in here. Let's step in here for just a second. Check this out. Let's go in the other entrance. I think you can go. Let's go down here and go in. I see people coming in and out of here. It looks like a jewelry making. And if you look how they have the steps, see how there's a step and then there's a flat piece in the middle that goes up? That's actually to get your motorcycle in and out at night to park it. That's what that's for. So I'm sure they're trying to sell the jewelry that's being made in here. On the other side, the other door we went in for a second, you can see them making the jewelry and stuff. Let's walk through here just for a second. Tour groups coming through. Oh, I love this architecture. This is so cool to me. Oh, I'd love to have a house like this. I told him that. I'd love to have a house like this. Because if you look, this says it's a bed of third generation. Lady made around 1878. Wow. Very cool. So this is the old style architecture here. If you understand Chinese, you'd be able to listen to the tour guide. But if you look, I love houses with these inside courtyards like this, where they had the well. This was the well for their water. But the inside courtyard allows the heat to escape and natural ventilation plus light. So it's very, very cool. I love this old house. Very cool. Let's see if we can get around the tour here.
이 지금 집으로 집에 만들어진 나무 있잖아요. 절대 썩지 않는 나무. 이게 따로 500년을
Còn cái bên này nữa có bánh nè. Ngồi luôn hai dạo.
I guess these are all antiques and stuff in here. This one says, oh, look at this real old electric fan here. It says the wooden floor is covered with the last and only comb rattan mat that was ever used in early 20th century. So that's the original rattan mat.
Ngôi nhà cổ này là một trong những ngôi nhà cổ đặc trưng của quốc gia đầu tiên luôn. Bây giờ khoác sang ý tiền sơ về ngôi nhà cổ này nhé.
History. Okay, let me read this real quick here. The Tan Kee House traded in agricultural products in the 18th and 19th century. Its owners had boats sail up the Tubon River and buy and carry the products home. Goods ready for sale were kept in the ground floor. Those to be sold later were moved upstairs by means of pulleys. Its customers consisted of local and foreign merchants who came mainly from Southeast Asia and Europe. About the end of the 18th century, thanks to the rapid development of local business, the owner was able to rebuild the house on its old base, as we can see today. Generation after generation, the Tan Kee family has made untiring attempts to keep the house in good condition despite time and weather. The name Tan Kee, I read good? Yeah? Came from the second generation, which means the progress shop. It expresses the owner's wish for prosperous business. The Tubon River gradually silted up due to continuous floods that made it impossible for big ships to enter the port. This is one of the several reasons for a recession that started in the early 19th century. And by the beginning of the 20th century, very few ships from other parts of the world came to Hoi An, and the town ceased to be one of the most important business centers in the region. Until now, the house has been the home for 7 generations of the same family. It offers evidence of the period when trade with foreigners flourished in this important port from the 18th to the first half of the 19th century, a time when wealthy merchants built such imposing houses. The architecture of the house, the design of the Tan Kee house shows the cultural influences that Chinese and Japanese styles had on local architecture at that time. The beams and roofs and ceilings, for example, are typical of these architectural styles. Although suffered from the devastation of time and floods, the house has remained almost unchanged thanks to the good materials it was built with. The inside wooden framework is joined with wooden pegs and rests on marble bases. The outside structure is made up of thick bricks and tiles. This design helps to keep the house cool in summer and warm in winter. Many of the building materials were brought from other areas of Vietnam. The paving stones and the floor tiles, for example, come from northern areas. The old furniture and works of art in the house are typical of the period. Many are original. The Tan Kee house has been listed in the top category of old houses by the National Ministry of Culture. It has been filmed and shown on television and became the best known and most visited house in Hoi An since 1983. The house has the honor of receiving thousands of visitors every year. It is the only one in Hoi An visited by international and Vietnamese leaders such as the Secretary General Trong Chin, Secretary General, President, Prime Minister, and the Chinese Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister of Thailand. So there you go. A little bit of history. about this building and architecture. Very cool, huh? One of the things to see in Hoi An. Well, I can tell you one of the great things about Hoi An, you know, I'm always looking for ways. I'm easily amused. I'm easily entertained. That's probably why I've been able to continue to be happy living in any place for 17 years. But this place, Hoi An, is great for me because it's a great place to people watch. I'm talking about things that are conducive for a Ripper to use when they're living in a town that I think is long-term user-friendly. And I always talk about shopping malls. So it was the reason I like shopping malls, to go sit and watch people. It's a microcosm of the whole country that you live in. And so this is no exception to that. Sitting here watching the people go by in my little kindergarten chair with my kindergarten table is entertaining to me. To watch the people like this guy that sells the coffee. Very entertaining to me. He's very animated. So anyway, yeah, people watching. It's very cool. I always have fun, and it's interesting. And especially here in Hoi An, because they have so many different nationalities of people coming through here, a lot of cultures mixing, and it's sort of great to see that because we have so many challenges in the world between different cultures and different people. And so to be able to see different people together mingling, and having a good time and coexisting is really a good thing. We need to take this and expand it into a much larger level, and it would be really cool because this is a melting pot, Hoi An. And so I enjoy just sitting watching the people. I'm not sure if you lived here whether you would hang out in this area or not, though. But definitely, if you wanted free entertainment, this would be the place to come. And they have good coffee, coconut water, and the coconut we got. They always give you the obligatory tea. Another thing this guy handed out, which is only remnants of now, this was actually dried coconut. And it was actually brown. I wasn't sure what it was when they put it on the table, but it's dried coconut. It's really tasty as a little snack on the table. Now, Nat and I always joke because one time we sat down and they gave us these watermelon seeds, and they gave us a couple packs. Well, we ate one pack, and when we went to pay the bill, they charged us for them. So now every time something hits the table, like we just had lunch, and there were peanuts, a couple plates of peanuts. And we're joking now that they're going to be 300 baht, like $10. So I'm not sure if these are going to be on the bill or not, or if they're complimentary, but it seems like they put these on and then they charge you later, and I think most people don't even realize they got charged for them. And if they question it, say, yeah, you ate the snack, you know? So anyway, and also another distinction I made while sitting here, because this happened numerous times now, is I think they pre-make the coffee because it's quick. And I actually asked for hot coffee with milk. And because the coffee's already made up to make iced coffee with milk, what they need to do is they have a thing with hot water. And so they fill this with hot water and then set the glass in it, which the coffee was either cool or room temperature, I'm not sure. Put it in there, and after a minute or two, the coffee actually gets warm. And that's how they give you hot coffee. And so, very interesting, ingenious. So we're going to enjoy the sun starting to go down. If you look over here, you got the sun going down. So we need to get back to Da Nang, as the foreigners call it. Da Nang, as the Asians call it. So we got to head back. So we're going to cut it short. I know we're going to talk about whether we're going to come back here and actually look into information as to whether or not it would be feasible for a Category 1 or Category 2 Ripper to live here. A Category 2 probably for sure could. But maybe I can ask this man how much rent is here. See if he can give some information as to if a foreigner lived here, how much it would cost them to pay for rent. Anyway, for now, JC and that out. Well, I just wanted to say, Hoi An is a very interesting place, and it really captures the charm of an old town with the architecture and old businesses and everything. What is not good about it is the amount of tourism. It sort of takes away from the quaintness and the charm, but it's actually a really nice city. I'm not sure if it would be a great place where you could actually live, though, or not. But it's something that you ought to consider if you're thinking about living in Vietnam, because if you got outside of this area, you could probably live a really peaceful life here. You're not far from the beach as well, but you'd have all the infrastructure, because the nice thing about tourism like this is it creates such an infrastructure. You'd have any kind of bar or restaurant or anything like that you would want to have in a place that you'd want to live. So something to consider if you're thinking about living somewhere in Vietnam. This would be a really cool place. I'm not sure how long you'd be able to live here before it started to feel like you lived in the middle of a, Disney World or something, but something to consider for sure. Well, we're leaving Da Nang. I just want to mention to you, I think this town is great. I think it's an undiscovered treasure for retirees or rippers, retirees in paradise. I think it's someplace everybody should check out if they're thinking about coming to living in Vietnam and they like to be around the water. This is a great place. It's a real city, but it's not a over busy city. It's a normal city. You're not going to see hardly any other foreigners around, but it's got the infrastructure, it's got the shopping, it's got restaurants, it's got all these things that you'd want to make it easy to live here. You could walk down the beach, the main beach here, and never see anybody, really. You'd have the beach to yourself, but you have all the amenities and everything of being here. Now, I got some costs for you. Real quick, let me run off a couple of these. A basic lunchtime menu, including a drink, in the business district would be about $4.30 US. This is at the conversion today's rate. Monthly rate for an 85 square meter or 900 square foot furnished apartment in a normal area, not a high rent district, would be about $375 a month. For a 45 square meter or 480 square foot furnished studio apartment in a normal area would be about $280. Hourly rate for somebody to help clean your place would be about $2.50 an hour. A liter or a quarter gallon of gas is going to cost you about $1. Package of Marlboro cigarettes are going to run you about $1.50. 12 large eggs are going to cost you about $1.40, and 2 liters of Coke, about 83 cents. And bread for 2 people for one day, about 65 cents. Now, I really think this is someplace you ought to check out. And you can go down to Hoi An, just down the street, about 45 minutes on a motorbike, and you got the whole ambiance of the old city. It's very, very touristy. Wow, it sounds like thunder. Very touristy. I don't know if that was like an explosion or thunder. Anyway, it's very touristy there. I don't think it'd be conducive for living there, but you can live there in a guest house for about $250 a month in a homestay with your own room up on the top floor with a big balcony and stuff like that. So keep that in mind if you actually wanted to live in Hoi An. You could live there fairly cheap as well and take advantage of all the things in that old district, old commercial tourist district there. Sort of a cool place. I'm not probably giving that a fair shake, Hoi An. We'll probably go back and check it out again sometime because I'd like to see more what it's like, but you realize you're going to be living in a tourist area. You're like living in a theme park almost. So keep that in mind. You can live outside that district, but you're still going to be dealing with the traffic and everything of all that tourism coming to that area. I want to give a shout out here. I usually don't do this, but I want to give a shout out to the hotel that I've been staying at. It's that's not it. It's actually called Huang, H-O Alps. I'll put this on the graphics below. Huang Lindan Hotel. These people have gone out of their way to be very friendly. The room was an incredible deal for $25 a night, and it's right across the street from the beach. And take advantage of this hotel. They give you free breakfast and everything, but the rooms are really nice. The staff is really friendly. You got an upstairs terrace that we're standing on here that you overlook everything, including the beach. Very cool. And then this is probably going to change before too long because they're putting up this new international city, they call it, Da Nang International City. And you can see this construction, it's massive. They're going to have a golf course there. They're going to have, I forget, a 60-story building or something. Apartments, businesses, convention center, all this stuff's going in across the street. It's humongous. I'll probably put an overlay of a graphic on top of this so you can see what the proposed layout is for this. So the $25 a night probably won't stick for too long once this gets built. Plus you might even, I'm not sure what they're building, how tall the buildings are going to be in front of this, but you might even lose the view as well. But anyway, just wanted to mention Da Nang's a 2 thumbs up for me on this trip. One of the few places I've really enjoyed since we've been here that I thought would really be conducive to living besides Dalat. Where are we going next? We're off to Hue, H-U-E, off to Hue. So we'll be reporting from Hue soon. And till then, we're out of here. See ya.